Iran's Revolutionary Guard naval forces will carry out live-fire exercises in the Strait of Hormuz on February 1st and February 2nd, Press TV reported on Thursday, according to Reuters. The announcement comes amid elevated tensions between Washington and Tehran, with both sides positioning military capabilities in the region. The strait is the world's most vital oil export route, which connects the biggest Gulf oil producers, such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and the United Arab Emirates, with the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea, according to Reuters. Nearly a fifth of the world's oil passes through this stretch of water, making any military activity there significant for global energy markets. Reports from multiple international outlets say U.S. carrier strike groups and other assets are moving toward the region. It is unclear whether the scheduled drills are routine or intended as messaging, according to international reports. According to analysts quoted by international outlets, planned live fire drills could highlight aspects of Iranian naval operations, but actual impact remains uncertain. The IRGC naval forces operate separately from Iran's conventional navy and have been described as focused on the Persian Gulf area. The Strait of Hormuz represents a critical choke point for global energy supplies, with tankers carrying oil from major Gulf producers passing through daily. Any disruption to traffic through the strait would have immediate implications for global oil prices and energy security, according to energy analysts. The narrow waterway is approximately 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, with shipping lanes that bring tankers close to Iranian territorial waters. This geography gives Iran potential leverage over maritime traffic, a fact Tehran has emphasized in past confrontations with Western powers. The strait connects the Persian Gulf, where major oil-producing nations have their export terminals, with the Gulf of Oman, and from there to global shipping routes. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Iraq, and Iran itself all depend on the strait for significant portions of their oil exports. The announcement of military exercises in this waterway naturally draws attention from energy markets, shipping companies, and governments worldwide. How other regional states in the United States respond to the exercises will be watched closely by observers tracking the current tensions. Iranian media and some defense analysts describe the IRGC naval component as focused on operations in the Persian Gulf area. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps operates its own naval force separate from Iran's conventional navy, known as the IRIN. This division of responsibilities, as described in Iranian media and by some defense analysts, places the IRGC Navy at the center of any potential confrontation in the strait. The force has been described as having developed capabilities suited to the shallow, congested waters of the Persian Gulf. Iranian state media has described various IRGC naval capabilities over the years, though specific claims about vessels, weapons, and readiness cannot be independently verified. The force reportedly operates a mix of fast attack craft, missiles, mines, and other systems, according to Iranian state outlets. The announcement of exercises specifically by IRGC naval forces rather than the conventional navy underscores the strategic importance Tehran places on the strait, according to analysts. The IRGC answers directly to Supreme Leader Khamenei and operates with considerable autonomy within Iran's security structure. Iranian state media has described a naval doctrine centered on what it calls swarm warfare, the use of large numbers of small, fast craft to overwhelm larger adversaries, according to coverage in Iranian outlets. These claims cannot be independently verified, but represent Tehran's messaging about its defensive capabilities. According to Iranian media descriptions, this approach aims to turn the confined waters of the Gulf and Strait into an advantage rather than a limitation. Small boats operating in large numbers could theoretically complicate the defensive systems of larger warships, though the actual effectiveness of such tactics remains untested against modern naval defenses. Iranian officials have emphasized that their military doctrine relies on asymmetric approaches designed to offset the conventional superiority of potential adversaries, like the United States, according to state media. The logic, as described in Iranian statements, is to make any attack on Iran prohibitively costly. Whether the announced exercises will demonstrate these claimed capabilities or focus on other aspects of naval operations is not specified in the Press TV report cited by Reuters. Past Iranian exercises have featured various elements according to state media coverage. Iranian state outlets, which cannot be independently verified, refer to vessels described as the Zulfagar class as part of the IRGC Navy's capabilities. These descriptions characterize the vessels as small, fast craft with certain capabilities, though specific claims have not been confirmed by independent defense analysts. According to Iranian media descriptions, the vessels are designed for operations in the shallow waters of the Persian Gulf. Iranian outlets have claimed various technical specifications, but these characterizations come from state media without independent verification. The emphasis on small, fast craft reflects the geographic realities of the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz, where large vessels have limited maneuverability. Iranian doctrine, as described in state media, emphasizes exploiting these geographic constraints against larger adversaries. Whether such vessels will participate in the announced February exercises is not specified in the press TV report cited by Reuters. The specific platforms and activities planned for the exercises have not been detailed in available reporting. State media refers to a vessel called Shahid Bagheri, reported as a drone carrier. Independent confirmation of its role or capabilities is lacking. State television footage has shown a large vessel at sea, though specific claims about its capabilities cannot be independently verified. According to Iranian media descriptions, the vessel was converted from a commercial container ship and can launch unmanned aerial vehicles. Iranian outlets have claimed various specifications, including the ability to deploy drones and carry fast boats, though these characterizations come from state media without independent verification. The deployment of such a vessel near the Strait of Hormuz, as described in Iranian media, would represent an expansion of Iranian naval capabilities if accurate. However, the actual operational status and capabilities of the vessel remain unclear from available independent sources. Iranian officials have framed the vessel as part of their defensive posture against potential attack, according to state media coverage. Whether the Shahid Bagheri or similar vessels will participate in the announced exercises has not been specified. Tasnim reported Iran's army received a batch of 1,000 drones, according to Reuters. The announcement came alongside warnings from Army Commander-in-Chief Amir Hatami about preparation for threats ahead and delivering what he called a crushing response to any aggressor. These characterizations come from Iranian state media and represent Tehran's messaging about military capabilities during the current crisis. The actual number, types, and readiness of drones cannot be independently verified from available sources. The emphasis on drones reflects Iranian investment in unmanned systems that analysts say could be used in various scenarios, including operations in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian state media has claimed drone capabilities that could threaten various targets, though specific claims remain unverified. Whether drone operations will be included in the announced IRGC naval exercises has not been specified in the press TV report cited by Reuters. Iranian exercises have previously featured drone components, according to state media coverage of past drills. Reports from multiple international outlets say U.S. carrier strike groups and other assets are moving toward the region as tensions with Iran remain elevated. The carrier strike group's presence represents significant American military capability positioned near the Persian Gulf. Defense outlets report additional strike aircraft and support assets have moved into the region, including to bases in Jordan and elsewhere in the Middle East. The accumulation of American military power provides options for various scenarios depending on how the situation evolves. Trump said U.S. warships are moving toward the region. In comments reported by major outlets, including Reuters, "We have a lot of very big, very powerful ships, and it would be great if we didn't have to use them," he said, according to reported comments. The timing of Iranian exercises in the Strait of Hormuz, while American forces build up nearby, creates a scenario where both sides are demonstrating military capability. Whether this represents preparation for conflict or mutual deterrence messaging remains unclear from available information. Trump referenced American naval deployments in public comments describing ships heading toward the region. Just by the way, there's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now, he said in comments reported by Reuters. So we'll see. I hope they make a deal. The characterization of naval deployments as an armada is Trump's own description of the military positioning. Trump's framing combines military pressure with expressed hope for diplomatic resolution, consistent with American messaging throughout the current crisis. I hope they make a deal, Trump repeated, according to reported comments, framing the military buildup as leverage for negotiation rather than preparation for inevitable conflict. The dual messaging of military capability and diplomatic openness characterizes American policy during the current tensions. The contrast between American naval positioning and Iranian exercises in the Strait illustrates the competing military postures. Both sides are demonstrating capability while leaving room for diplomatic resolution if conditions change. U.S. defense officials have framed the posture as meant to pressure for a deal while keeping military options available in public comments. The framing presents American forces as supporting diplomacy rather than replacing it. When President Trump said we're not getting a nuclear Iran, you won't have a nuclear bomb, he meant it, defense officials stated in public comments. The characterization emphasizes American resolve on the nuclear issue while framing military capabilities as backing for diplomatic demands. We will be prepared to deliver whatever this president expects, defense officials stated according to public remarks. Same thing with Iran right now, ensuring that they have all the options to make a deal. They should not pursue nuclear capabilities. The American framing positions military buildup as creating conditions for negotiation by demonstrating what alternatives to diplomacy would look like. However, Iranian officials characterize the same buildup as intimidation and threat, reflecting fundamentally different interpretations. Iranian officials have characterized the American military buildup as gunboat diplomacy, using naval power to intimidate rather than engage in genuine negotiation, according to state media coverage. Iranian commanders accused the United States of projecting fear through massive warships rather than pursuing diplomatic solutions. Rear Admiral Habibullah Sayari says any act of adventurism against Iran will come at a heavy cost, according to Iranian state media. Iranian officials insist Iran is fully prepared to respond across land, sea, and air if attacked. Iran's leadership argues that advanced technology alone does not decide wars, pointing to past conflicts as proof of Iranian resilience and capability, according to state media coverage. The message from Tehran emphasizes willingness to fight regardless of American technological advantages. These competing framings, American characterization of pressure for diplomacy versus Iranian characterization of intimidation, reflect the gap between how each side interprets the other's actions. The gap complicates any potential diplomatic resolution. Regional oil-producing states are watching the situation in the Strait of Hormuz closely, given their dependence on the waterway for exports. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, and others have vital economic interests in maintaining free passage through the strait. International reporting says Saudi Arabia and the UAE have signaled they do not want their territory used for strikes on Iran. These positions reflect Gulf states' concern about becoming targets in any conflict and their interest in de-escalation rather than military confrontation. The announcement of Iranian military exercises in the Strait creates additional uncertainty for regional states already balancing relationships with both Washington and Tehran. Any incident during exercises could escalate tensions further, affecting regional stability and oil markets. Shipping and insurance industries will monitor the exercises closely for any implications for commercial traffic through the Strait. Past Iranian military activities in the waterway have affected shipping routes and insurance premiums for vessels transiting the area. The Strait of Hormuz's importance for global energy supplies means that any military activity there has potential implications for oil prices. Markets typically react to uncertainty about shipping through the world's most critical oil choke point. Nearly a fifth of global oil trade passes through the strait, according to energy industry estimates. Any disruption, whether from military action, exercises, or increased tensions, could affect global supply calculations and pricing. The announcement of live fire exercises specifically raises questions about whether commercial shipping will continue normally during the February 1st to 2nd period. Iranian authorities have not specified whether shipping lanes will be affected or whether warnings to maritime traffic have been issued. Energy analysts note that the current tensions have already created uncertainty in oil markets, with prices sensitive to developments in the U.S.-Iran standoff. The exercises add another variable to market calculations about regional stability and supply security. Military exercises typically involve various activities depending on their scope and objectives. Live fire exercises specifically involve actual weapons discharge rather than simulated operations, demonstrating both capability and readiness. Naval exercises can include surface vessel maneuvers, missile firings, mine laying or clearing operations, anti-submarine activities, and various other components. The specific activities planned for the IRGC exercises have not been detailed in the press TV report cited by Reuters. Past Iranian exercises in the region have featured various elements according to state media coverage, including fast boat operations, missile tests, and drone activities. Whether the February exercises will be limited or comprehensive is not specified in available reporting. The announcement of exercises without detailed information about scope and activities creates uncertainty for other parties operating in or near the strait. Commercial shipping, other navies, and observers will monitor the exercises for indications of Iranian intentions. The IRGC Navy has been involved in various incidents in the Strait of Hormuz and Persian Gulf over the years, including confrontations with American and other vessels, according to international reporting. These past incidents provide context for understanding the significance of announced exercises. Iranian forces have seized tankers, harassed foreign vessels, and engaged in various activities in the strait during past periods of tension, according to international reports. The IRGC Navy's approach to the waterway reflects Iranian claims about defending territorial waters and strategic interests. The history of incidents in the strait underscores the potential for escalation, whether from deliberate action or miscalculation. Close proximity between Iranian forces conducting exercises and other vessels creates scenarios where accidents could occur. This context shapes how observers interpret the announced exercises. Some may view them as routine demonstrations. Others may see them as deliberate signaling during a crisis period. The actual intent is not specified in available reporting. The current situation features both the United States and Iran demonstrating military capabilities in and around the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. American naval positioning and Iranian exercises represent parallel shows of force. American messaging emphasizes overwhelming capability and willingness to use it if necessary. Iranian messaging emphasizes regional reach, asymmetric capabilities, and acceptance of conflict if imposed. Each side signals strength while leaving room for diplomatic resolution. The exercises announcement fits into Iranian deterrence messaging by demonstrating that Iran remains capable of action in the strait, regardless of American buildup. Whether the exercises will feature activities designed to showcase specific capabilities is not specified. This deterrence competition creates pressure but also risks miscalculation if either side misreads the other's intentions. Military forces operating in close proximity during exercises and deployments create scenarios where incidents could trigger escalation neither side intended. Despite military positioning, diplomatic channels remain active with various regional powers seeking to prevent escalation. Turkey has positioned itself as a potential mediator, with Iran's Foreign Minister Aragchi due to visit Turkey on Friday, according to Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesperson. Pakistan, India, Russia, and other countries have engaged with both Washington and Tehran, urging restraint and offering potential pathways for communication. The multilateral diplomatic activity reflects widespread concern about where the current trajectory might lead. The announcement of Iranian exercises does not preclude diplomatic engagement, consistent with Tehran's dual-track approach of demonstrating military readiness while pursuing political options. Iran has emphasized willingness to talk under appropriate conditions, according to state media. Whether diplomatic efforts can prevent escalation depends on decisions in Washington and Tehran that external actors can seek to influence but cannot control. The crisis continues with military demonstrations and diplomatic engagement proceeding in parallel. The announced February 1st to 2nd timeframe for exercises creates a specific window during which observers will monitor developments in the strait. Several factors will be watched closely by governments, markets, and analysts. The scope of activities, whether limited demonstrations or comprehensive operations, will indicate Iranian intentions. Any activities near commercial shipping lanes or foreign vessels would draw particular attention given the current tensions. American and other naval forces in the region will likely monitor the exercises closely, creating potential for close encounters between Iranian and foreign military assets. How both sides manage proximity during this period will affect perceptions of escalation risk. Market reactions to the exercises will depend on whether commercial shipping is affected and whether any incidents occur. Past exercises have sometimes proceeded without market impact. Others have triggered price reactions depending on circumstances. The announcement of IRGC live-fire exercises in the Strait of Hormuz adds another element to the ongoing U.S.-Iran crisis. Both sides continue positioning military capabilities while diplomatic efforts proceed in parallel. The exercises represent Iranian signaling during a period when American forces are building up nearby. Whether the timing is coincidental or deliberately chosen to send a message is not specified in available reporting. For observers tracking the situation, the February 1st to 2nd period represents a specific window of heightened attention. The exercises themselves, any incidents that might occur, and market reactions will all be monitored as indicators of where the crisis is heading. The broader trajectory toward escalation, toward de-escalation, or toward continued standoff remains uncertain. The exercises are one element in a complex picture where military capability, diplomatic engagement, and regional dynamics all interact to shape possible outcomes.